Hi, I'm Gosselin. This is my grief activity, Surviving Grief, for the end-of-life nursing care. Traditional views of grief have people going through a process of grief, working through feelings to let go of a loved one. Freud himself described the purpose of grief to detach a survivor's hopes and memories from the dead. You must go through each step to grieve successfully. There's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. It's a taboo and embarrassing subject to talk about the dead person and then potentially upset others. A different view of grief, as we saw on Tuesdays with Maury, he said if the culture doesn't fit, don't buy it. Create your own. Alternate theories of grief promote that maintaining and redefining a relationship with your loved one is more natural and more effective at coping with death. This concept isn't new. It's been a minor theme in a lot of the classic texts about grieving, but it's largely ignored. A few lines later in Freud's dissertation, he went on to write about the need for a survivor to identify with the lost person, but that idea doesn't get examined. Other people might say, these are hallucinations, preoccupations, dreams. Freud says it's wishful psychosis. Some people might think it's just for religious freaks and cults to maintain a relationship with the dead. The sense of a dead one's presence characterizes early stages of grief, and that's about the only time they see it acceptable. For example, it's common for a newly bereaved person to hold a loved one's photo and talk to it. My response is this really any different than going to the cemetery every Mother's Day? Any different than the Christian beliefs that the soul continues after death? So, why a relationship with the dead? There are internal dialogues with the dead that help functioning by clarifying your thoughts, dealing with unfinished business, and preparing for the future. Significant others continue to feel a connection or a sense of that person's presence in their life. In the UK, over half the widows in a study said they actually try to maintain contact with their dead husband. One widow stated, "I say quite often, 'Oh, I still love you,' because although he's gone, you don't lose feeling for that person." People find a lot of comfort in things that connect them to a lost loved one, whether that be belongings or other people and their familiarity with that person. After 10 or 20 years of successfully functioning in society, bereaved parents mostly say, "We've got 3 children, one of whom died." That's a relationship that does not go away. Researchers classify 4 roles that the deceased carry on with their families. They serve as role models, givers of guidance in specific situations, value clarifiers, and a valued part of that survivor's biography. So how do you do this? I intended initially to develop a conversation guide for people to follow when talking to the dead, assuming that makes you uncomfortable. Just describe how you feel. I'm angry. I'm depressed. I'm so relieved you're not suffering anymore. Talk about what you miss. Oh, God, I miss holding your hand, seeing you play with the kids. I miss breakfast. Talk about the same things you used to. Those rotten kids, they never call. I can't believe Stanley's having an affair with that floozy. Talk as often as you used to. If it wasn't a significant other, maybe it was a sister or brother who you talk to once a week. Maybe it is somebody you talk to daily or hourly. Talk to them when you feel comfortable talking. Then I realized grieving is as individual as we are, and maybe one person's relationship takes another form. So maybe write a letter. Read the letter at a funeral, maybe send it to the child of the deceased. The value it has for someone like that is immeasurable. Maybe keep a notebook of letters if this was a significant other. Treasure the memories. Create a scrapbook or photo album, include cards, notes, ticket stubs, things that you can go back, look, touch, and remember what it was like to be with that person. Include them at holidays. Take a moment at the table and remind everyone of their importance in your lives. I know my mother-in-law used to toast my father-in-law every single Thanksgiving, every single Christmas. And this really instilled in the grandkids a sense of presence of their grandfather, even though they never had a chance to know him. Keep something significant nearby. Maybe it's a ring, a pendant, a piece of clothing, or some special possession that they used to enjoy. The application to the end of life for encouraging a maintenance of a relationship with the dead is many cultures include their ancestors actively in their lives already. Western culture has tended to start seeing that as a little bit crazy, but a lot of cultures see it as everyday normal. Not everyone follows a traditional course of grieving. Some people don't even know the right way to grieve. Nurses have a unique opportunity to work with families before and at the time of death. And the process of dying gives time to prepare the family and give them permission to grieve on their terms, individually and as a family. I came across this beautiful poem in the Walter article. It's by Canon Henry Scott Holland, and it was written, gosh, a century and a half ago almost. Death is nothing at all. I have only slipped away into the next room. I am I, and you are you. Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Why should I be out of mind because I'm out of sight? I am waiting for you for an interval, somewhere very near, just around the corner. All is well. Thank you.